blocking us from emotional alignment. I guess blocking is a weird phrasing because it doesn't really, could use blocks in the alignment. And say barriers. You can also say using blocks as blocking. Using blocks as blocking from alignment. I'm just going to put ALIGNM. You get the idea. I'll go out here. Control of your emotions. You also don't. That one I actually want to keep for this. That works really well. Control / no control of emotions. I kind of want to discover what that can really tap into as a concept. Fighting emotions doesn't really work. Didn't know about alignment growing up. I guess reacting kind of fits within this. Reactions, both good and bad. Oh yeah, baby, taking full control of the board. Guys don't like talking about emotions. Consequences of non-alignment. That's good. I'm just gonna put consec of non-alignment. There we go. This is getting really crowded right there. I'm trying to save space for the other stuff. I'm so bad at spacing. I always have been. Tug of war, the concept of physical versus emotional. It's emotional, so it doesn't really work with physical. How to open the door, again, its own thing. Can't say how you feel without saying how you feel. You can't say how you feel unless you say how you feel. It's the truth. You can't tell someone how you feel without telling them how you feel. I remember that. I think that was the original one. Break down and stay with those emotions. I think that's actually interesting because there are two sides of emotional alignment, hence why it's aligned right here. I think there's multiple sides, but I like the idea of multifaceted sides of alignment, of tipping EA a certain way, tipping over EA. I'll put more than two. More than two sides. Alright. And then we have what I'm pretty sure is going to be up there. Not gender specific, emotional alignment, barriers blocking us from alignment. There actually is something there with barriers. Let's do it, why not? Let's see. So how would barriers be? Kind of like hurdles is what I'm thinking of first. Right there. Kind of, whoa, damn. Am I an artist? That's crazy. Those are like music notes. Okay, whatever, don't worry about it. Emotional barriers blocking us from alignment. How it's not gender specific, but there are a lot of specific areas that we deal with separately when it comes to emotions, right? The truth is we're all unique individuals, and then once you go out of that, once you generalize from there, then it can go into that us being different genders, and then generalize from there. We're all humans, so from all of us being different to all of us being the same. But how would that work with barriers? Because I think, how about this? I think working with that actually. So there's the three levels of difficulty. I think that's actually good. Something with barriers, kind of like video game related. 3 levels of difficulty. A is a human barrier. Just put B. B is gender barrier, and of course there's like a million, but and then C is person barrier. And I'll put generalized to specific. Easy. Okay. Barriers blocking us, acknowledging trauma. I think that's a big topic within that actually. Trauma does work within there. Control of your emotions, you also don't. If barriers blocking us from alignment, there's something there, but I don't know what yet. It's kind of, because here's the thing. This juxtapositions, contradiction sentence, right? You have control of your emotions, you also don't. And how that leads into barriers, whatever barriers may mean, blocking us from alignment. You are able to come on, I'm on to something here, I just gotta think of it. You have control of your emotions, and how does that work with the barriers? You're able to control the barriers, but also you're not able to control the barriers blocking you from alignment. I think control is really the big word right there when it comes to barriers. Our belief that we have control over our emotions is in itself a barrier, right? So us using emotions and the understanding that we don't have control of our emotions could be unlocking that barrier. Or maybe it's the opposite. The fact that we do have control of our emotions is unlocking this idea that what was previously blocked off, the fact that we don't have control. Some people don't think they have control of their emotions, and if you say, hey, yes, I can control this emotional alignment, these emotions, I can get past these barriers. There's something in both. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with the sentence exactly, so I think I'm gonna step away from that when it comes to barriers. It's still there. I could work around it. I'll put maybe barriers. I've been saying barriers so much. All right. Next one, for barriers, fighting emotions, tug of war. Again, it works with, did I put barriers in there? on tug of war? I guess not, but the idea of battling, right? Well, barriers are different than tug of war. Like when you're fighting your emotions, you have wait, there's something there. The opposite. The fear of a fighting, of recognizing emotions. And that kind of fits into trauma. Fear of fighting emotions. Didn't know about emotional alignment. Didn't know about alignment growing up. Doesn't really fit in with barriers. There is like a societal barrier when you're talking about emotional alignment and emotional blockage. That actually is a pretty big one right there. Societal barriers. Guys don't like talking about, again, societal consequences of non-alignment. I mean, the fact that you do build up barriers, I guess. Steps towards a bad path. Not really. Tug of war. Hansa Bigelow, not really. How to open the door. There's something there. The door. This idea of a barrier being a door and unlocking that door, right? You can't say how you feel without saying how you feel. You can't say how you feel unless you say how you feel is really how I want to put it. I guess it's kind of a barrier, but it's too on the nose. As in, there's like, it's there. You read the sentence, it makes sense with barriers. Break down and stay with those emotions. The idea of this riddle block that you're like, oh, it's one of these riddle blocks where like you have to like unhook the pieces and then like you have these individual pieces that like kind of make this like Rubik's Cube type of thing. I think we'll keep that for right there. Let's go on to these other avenues. I'm making a lot of avenues, which is good. I wanna create a lot from 2 words, you know, and then have too much and then trim it down. What do we have next? Let's see. Let's just go down. Not being gender specific, not really enough to be its own topic. I have tug of war, barriers, that definitely look like, I think they need to be colored in. That's gonna look more like a music note, whatever. Barriers, you know what actually might help it? Looks somewhat more like barriers. Alright. And emotional alignment. Let's see. So not these 3. Acknowledging trauma and then moving on. I don't want to do a whole thing on trauma. I'm not qualified. Control. You have control of your emotions. You also don't. There is something there. There's so little space left, but there is something there. The idea of emotional blockage and control. Yeah, EB and control. Oh my gosh. Wow, this marker is almost dead. EB and control. I know I usually do a symbol, but those 2 are really good. I would say the contradiction in control versus not. This smells really good. Is that? Wow. That's really nice. Not being gender specific. There is something like that with control. Not for me to discuss. Emotional alignment. The idea of aligning between control and not control. That's more like balancing the idea of control versus not control, but I'll put aligning. Aligning